Hi there. Welcome to Rider Bonsai and Cacti again. This week we're going to look at this tree. Let me turn it a little bit. Uh, put the camera in a little bit of a different position than I normally do because of the size of this tree. Well, and the size of my tripod. This is was a Christmas tree. I bought a lot of them beginning of January of this year. And this is one where I had a little bit of fun with. Um, I think the best feature of this tree, this is the stick I used to mark the front, the best part of the tree for me is this. The, it's not, you cannot call it nipari, but the beginning of the trunk. I think originally this was beneath the soil. I think they took it from the ground and potted it up because of Christmas. It's still in the original pot. I'm going to repot it in February or March and see if we can put it in a pot a little bit more suitable for a bonsai. But I'm going to wait until early spring, the proper time. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose this tree because I repotted it at the wrong time. The only thing I did, well, the only thing I put a lot of stress on the tree, I think, because this tree was almost 2 meters high, maybe even higher. And what I did was I cut it here and tried to make this into the new leader. And I wired a few branches, as you can see. Well, and to be honest, the tree is healthy. It's put on nice amount of growth. And I think if I put it in a proper bonsai substrate, that it's going to be even more healthy. At least I hope, because the soil comes from here until here, and I think this is all roots. As you can see, it's rather stuck in the pot, so it's not wobbly or something. So I expect that most of the pot is filled with roots, and maybe um, in spring I decide, because of the roots, that it cannot be put into a bonsai pot immediately, but we will see. I have some training pots which are a little bit more high, so I think we can manage. Um, I don't like the top. Let me be very honest with you. What I like is this. I told you it's big. It's about, if I have to guess, 10 centimeters, and the trunk here is also 5-6 centimeters. So for me, this is the nice part of the tree. Um, this branch could be less thick. If I had some thinner branches, I probably would have cut that one, but I don't. So I have to use what I have. Uh, Maybe the tree will get some new growth, give some new branches here, but I don't know. I think here are some buds, so it can be that uh, some new branches are going to sprout there. I don't know. Um, what I dislike, really dislike, is the top part. This, I think it's actually too high. If you want to give the impression, and I want that, so I want to give the impression that it's an old tree. And initially, I, I designed it like this because, first of all, I already cut off a lot of the tree, and I like the taper. And if you look at this, it tapers very nicely. It gets from here, this was a branch, it gets more thin, even more thin, even more thin. So I thought, well, that's a nice taper. But I think it's just too tall. And I looked at the tree all summer, thinking, what do I want to do with the tree? What are my options, and look, what would look nice? I could cut this and make this into a leader, but I still don't like this. The next option is to cut it here and try to make this into a new leader. I could do this. I still think it's a bit too high, but I can do this. I also could cut it here and make this one or the one in the back. We'll turn it a little bit. This one into the new leader. Bend it more upwards. Problem I have with this is also rather long, and if I would do this, then I would have if I would bend the back branch to make a new leader of this. Up until here, the same situation. Up until here would be no branches, and you could do this. You actually could do this, but I'm not too happy about that. For me, it doesn't look the most fantastic. Um, Another possibility is make this branch into the new leader and cut it here. Cut it here. So this small branch is actually going to be the new leader. But still, I would have a piece of branch, a piece of trunk then here, and then here the new leader. So, I don't know. Um, as you hear, as I'm talking, I have to say I still don't know what to do. Still don't know what to do. I also could cut it here, and then make this into the new leader. I'm very curious about what all of you think about this. The thing, the problem I have with this, if I do this, I mean, this would be okay. But I don't have, yeah, I have taper, of course, but maybe this would be the best option. But luckily, we have a way of deciding. Just work from the top down. So I can cut it here first. And if that doesn't work, I can cut parts of this or bend it first, you know. And maybe we need to do something about the back too. As you can see, um, here we have a very thick trunk, and I did it like this because it has some nice side branching, and well, bottom branches mostly are more thick than the top branches, so it doesn't really matter. But what I'm thinking is, I also could cut it here, this branch, cut it here, and then make this into the new first branch. Um, it gives a little bit more taper in the branch, and I think it would be better than, because this doesn't taper. If it would taper, then I would be um, happy with it. But if you see, I don't know if you, I hope you can see this. Um, this branch has the same thickness here as it has here, so it doesn't taper at all. Taper, get more thin, so give the impression of youth, of growth, new growth. This branch only needs to be put a little bit more like this. You see, I did the same here. This branch went here and it grew more here. This was a side branch. I cut the main branch here. You can hopefully see this here, the cut. And I think in 1 or 2 years you can hardly see. And it gives a nice movement. This one also needs a little bit more. This needs to come down a little bit more. But that's not the biggest, those are not the biggest issues, you know. I mean, um, the more I look at it, the more I think that could be this could be a nice new leader. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take this wire off because I want to try how it looks if this is the new leader. And to do so, I have to be able to cut. So let's cut it. So put the wire there. So this doesn't need to be straight like a stick, you know, can be a little bit more like this or something. But um, I have to say, if there would be a branch here, then I wouldn't even dislike this as the new leader. The thing is, there is no branch there. And I can bend this a little bit more for there. But this is actually also a little bit of funny branch sticking up. Um, I'm not too happy with this. I also have the impression that this part, the top of the tree, especially if you bend this a little bit more up, is a little bit too high for this tree in comparison to this part. Um, at the same time, I still think if there would be a branch here going to the sides, or go to the back, doesn't matter, then this could work as as, as a new leader. But the way it looks now, I don't like it. So next option, try to make something out of this as a leader. So we are going to try and cut, oh, cut this. So, and then make this into a leader. What we actually could do, I know, I hope you can see this properly. I can do it like this. Make the leader, make this the leader, cut this off, make this a side branch. Let's try and see if I can do this quickly, not the way it would look, of course, but to be able to see what it would look like. A little bit like this, and then try to give it a little bit of a turn, and then make this into the no leader. Have to take the wire off from this anyway, from this one and this one. So I'm going to take the wire off, and then I will be back again for you in a second. For me, it will take a few minutes. So we're back. I took away all the wire. It was right in time. Some places you can see a little bit indentation on the branch, but apart from this, it went rather well. Didn't bite in, but still keeping the branches the way they are. I put some cut paste here and put a little piece of wire here up until this part. Um, I was thinking for a second about making this the new leader, and because it would look nice if not only a branch would be here but also here. But we cannot do this. This type of tree, you can see it in different places, has the tendency of giving barred branches. So two branches to the left and the right sticking, coming out at the same spot. And here, oh, sorry, here for example, you can see it gives a sort of inverse taper. This part will get too thick, more thick than this and this, if you let that situation exist. In time, I need to cut this off. I already said I want to cut it off because it's too thick to be at the top, but if I cut it off, then this is going to be an enormous empty space. Don't like it. But we have three buds here, here, and here. Maybe it's better to see like this. Here, 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 and I hope the top one at least will give a new little branch. And as soon as I get a branch there, I'm going to cut this. Let it develop a little bit and then cut this. So the new branch can take this one's place. It would be fantastic if I would also get a new branch here, because then I could fill this space up. And I think it would look nice. So because of that, I cannot keep these two branches existing in the same spot, so I cannot do this. What I'm going to do is cut it here, develop this into the new leader, and this can be a side branch. No more talking. So I could, well, let me take this thing. I could bend it a little bit more like this. At the same time, I don't know, the whole tree tends to go a little bit for this side, tend a little bit more to go for this side. Let me check the front from where I'm sitting. No, I think from where I'm sitting, this is the front. You see? So I think it's okay like this. Maybe we could bend this a little bit more. There, I actually should have used wire, which is a little bit more thick, but okay. Um, I think for now we can leave it. Maybe later, next year, when the branches get a little bit more thick, rewire it, and then I can do something more with this side branch. I like it like this. So, I already said we have to also do something about this branch because it's it's a little bit too long. It goes for here, and this branch, top branch, is longer than this branch. Let me see again. Yeah, it's too long. So we are going to cut it. Let me see. Where am I going to cut? The trick I always do, if I want to see what it looks like without that part, which I intend to cut, is put my hand there. You can also put a piece of paper or the Peter Chan option, put a bag there, but you can see what it looks like. Well, probably you will say, Michel, this is a little bit boring. Yes, it is. But we have a new bud here. This was a bud, but died off. But we have a new nice bud there. So, and we have a branch here. So, what am I going to do is cut this one off. So, cut it off. Because I cut this off, you get even more chance of backbudding. So maybe we will get one here. I think this is a dormant bud also, but at least here will become here we will get a bud. So let's see. If we want to do it right, I have to cut this one also. But then it's going to be a branch with no side branches on the front. And I'm not too fond of this. So I'm going to wait and see if this bud really gives a nice branch. Then we are going to cut it there. Up until then, I'm going to leave it the way it is. So let's turn it a bit. Here we have exactly the same situation. This branch is too long in comparison to this one. By the way, last year I cut this branch and now I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new buds. This is the result of cutting. Let me see. Here I cut it here. Here we have a nice new healthy bud. So this is the result of cutting. Um, no, it's the natural uh, thing for a tree to do. But you see here, for example, here is buds there. Those are growing points for the branches. And if I cut it here, of course we will get back branching because the tree wants to grow more. And this is something we use. It's again, it's too long. Let me see. What do we do? think we need to take more than I'm going to do now, but we can see. Still looks too long. What happens if we cut this one? And you see it still looks too long. Still, this back branch is almost the same length as this bottom branch, which in nature is not like this and should not be like this. So I think it's good. Well, maybe cut it here. Give it some options to give back a bud. Give some buds on this piece, which would give me the opportunity, if I get a bud here, would give me the opportunity to cut this one. Or if we got a bud here, I could cut this one to prevent the bar branching. Let me see this. Yeah, I will turn it to your side so you can see. Actually, if I would really want to do it correctly, I think I would have to cut this part off, and maybe even that. So I could get some more back budding. But at the same time, I'm a little bit reluctant to do so. A little bit reluctant to do so. But at the same time, you see the results of cutting. I cut this branch, I cut it here because it was too long. And now at this point, multiple buds are forming. This. So, took a year, but okay. What are we going to do? Going to cut here. And cut that one. You see, I think it looks more in proportion now. This part, this branch ends before this. This one is a little bit longer. And if we want to do it correctly, we need to do that same here. It's just too long. Here I'm going to do differently because we have one more small one there. So still could be a little bit long, but I'm not going to take more from this tree. I mean, I'm very happy the way it grew this year, but uh, we must take the health of the tree also in consideration. So let's do it like this. This one is also a little bit long. What you see happens here also. I cut it, and then it gives two branches. I'm going to do the same here. Cut it here, and hopefully we will get some back budding. I think for now I'm going to stop. Yes, I see that more there are more options of working on this tree. I see that the tree needs more working on, but not at this moment. I want to do this in steps, give the tree the possibility to regain its figure in growing, because don't forget, in spring, March, maybe February, I'm going to try and repot this tree. So that will be stressful also. And it's September, end of September, September 27th today, which means that this tree is not going to put on growth this year. So I don't want to stress it out too much. This is the result for now. I think although it maybe doesn't look like we did a lot, I think we did a lot. And I'm happy with the results. I'm very happy with the results. Um, like I said, more back budding here, cutting this branch. Some back budding here, working on this. And this area is still a little bit of a concern. So later we need to work on this. What we could do, of course, is take this one and take it more for this. Let me see. Let me see. Is this something which we could do? Yes. This is something which would give the tree a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to get some wire because the wire which is on the table is way too thick for that trunk. I'm going to get some wire. Then I'm going to wire this and come back to you as soon as I wired it. So we're back. As you can see, I put a piece of wire around this back branch, well, it was on the side, but I turned it a little bit more for the back. I think it does a lot for the tree. What I also did was wire this branch because it was sticking up a little bit. I brought it down. Very simple um, action, but I think it looks better now, especially, well, both this back branch being bent down, it um, agrees with the rest of the design of the tree, I think. And this one put a little bit more for the back and a little bit up, um, fills out this space very nicely. It it fills out this part because if you look through here, you can see the greenery there. So it fills it out. It gives extra sense of depth on the well, on the entire tree, and I like it. With the considerations I already told you about, there are some things, but bonsai is uh, well, it's continuously training the plant, the tree, and you cannot expect a Christmas tree, which was grown in the ground for many years, to be an instant bonsai in 1 year. This is impossible. I mean, I worked on it somewhere in the winter, probably January, February. Um, I worked on it, gave it its initial styling, started the training. So, and this is the second time I worked a little bit on the tree, and you have to give it some time. This is the tree. I'm going to put this in again to mark the front. So this is the front. I'm going to do a little bit of a turn for you so you can see it all the way around with back budding here. And as I said, I like it a lot. This was it for today, for this week even. Thank you very much for looking at my video, and see you next time. Bye bye.